My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to our second card for this week's stamp set of the week, Seasonal Celebrations. So we created a birthday card on Monday using the strips of hearts and flowers, and we're going to do, well, I've already created one which is an Easter card, which is this one, but we're going to do another birthday card but for a child. So let's bring in the supplies and we can go ahead. So I have got a piece of old olive that measures 8 inches by 5 3/4, and I've scored it at the 4-inch mark. I'll just give it a quick burnish. There we go. I have the totally cute designer series paper, which measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And then I've got my white cardstock. So the first piece is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, and that will go inside. Then I have a piece of white card which measures 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. I have a piece of white card which I've cut out a circle. My circle is 2 1/4, but you can use whatever you have got in your stash, and obviously it fits the image, which this one will do. So let's do the stamping first. So let's do the easy bit first. So the first I'm going to do is a party hat. I'm going to stamp it up in cherry cobbler. I'm going to make it come down as far as possible. So this is a really quick card. I'm going to bring it down as far as possible so the edges of the hat reach the edges of a circle, if you can have edges of a circle. But if you see what I mean, down to there. Which then gives me enough room to bring in my Daffodil Delight to put a pom-pom on the top. There we go. So let's pop that. Let's make sure that's inked up well. And then that will just go on the top there. So we've got this little party hat now, ready to go. So that's it. So the next thing to do is to do repeat stamping with the happy birthday. So I've got old olive, so that matches the card base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, now this happy birthday comes from the sweet jar, but obviously you can use whatever is in your stash and fits the size of the paper. We've got happy birthday. And then I'm going to put one in the middle-ish, and then I'm going to put one at the end. Down the bottom there. Okay, close that up. We will bring it back in a minute. I'm going to wipe this happy birthday now, and I'm going to bring back in the cherry cobbler. I'm going to leave a little gap and then put it there, and then I'm going to do the same and do it there. I'm roughly guessing where this is going. Again, I'm going to clean it off. There we go. And I'm going to bring back in the Daffodil Delight. Just making sure that was totally clean. Didn't want to put a dark colour into a light one. And then that will go there. And then that one go there. So we now have our strip of Happy Birthday. So rather than put a backing card on it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip the edges into the old olive. So I'm just going to dip the edge so you can see, dip the edge, dip the edge, and dip the edge. Okay, so you've got this border on it, but it doesn't have, I'm hoping you can see it. If I put it on the white, you can see that the green is gone around the edge. I'm going to do the same with the circle, but we're going to roll it. We're just going to roll it, she says, trying to not get her fingers. Let's make sure. Okay, it's a bit darker. I can afford for it to be a bit darker. There we go. Perfect. And now it's a case of simply putting the card together. It is that simple today. So let's put the inside layer in first. I'll use my Stampin' Seal, and that will go into there. Make sure, let's see, there's enough space top and bottom. There we go. There. Perfect. And then we're going to put our designer series paper on here. Okay. Again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. If you wanted your card to be slightly more grown up, you could use the other side with the birthday notes. There we go. Perfect. Then this will sit on here, and I'm going to have it like this so that this little one is just peeking round, and I'm going to glue that one down with my multi-purpose. Some days I wish you could feel how heavy these glues are when they refuse to come out. So let's put him there. He's peeking through. Let's make sure it's straight. Got a birthday cake. Got the man down here. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is pop him up here. And I'm going to pop him on dimensionals. So let's bring the dimensionals in. Obviously, I don't want the dimensionals on this side, so I'm literally going to flip this over. And then I'm just going to put the dimensionals around there. 1, 2, oh, excuse me, and 3. Get my pick tool, and we can take off our backing, and then that can go onto there, and it should sit quite nicely. So as I said, it is a very quick card. We've got a cheeky turtle poking his head through, and there we are. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope you like this card. As I say, because it's so quick, you can make quite a few in a small amount of time. We will be back on Friday with our funky fold, so don't forget to join me then. Take care. Bye.